hello everyone. Welcome to it's never a Crunchy stream unless it's a scuffed stream, as always. So my internet is very scuffed right now. I'm running on absolutely bare bones, and so we have our good friend Red Monster here, who not only is my co-host but is also now my main stream companion. Whatever, we're running the stream through him, which unfortunately means we don't get to see any of the cool Echo Bit things today.
But like, we get to do the cool Brady Bunch impression, which I think is an absolute win.
Oh, 100%. So yeah, it is unfortunate, guys. So bear with us. We already have some solutions in the work for next week, so that we can basically completely avoid this situation where when Crunchy's internet might be a bit bad, everything goes haywire. But for now, we do still have the race in general. So tonight, it is Crux Cup, day number 2 qualifiers, and it's going to be a bit of a doozy. So I didn't want to, even though everything was scuffed, I wanted to make sure we still had a stream.
Yes,
and it's going to be a good one. Oh no, where'd my Twitch chat go? It disappeared. Everything's changed.
All right. Looks like, yeah, internet died for some folks. We're running through my OBS. We've got Croncy here and his video. I will be camera director and technical support because hopefully everybody can hear. We've got good audio quality. If you guys cannot hear anything, please, I'll be monitoring Croncy's chat. And yeah, bear with us as we deal with the technical challenges that is a live streaming production spanning basically the globe, right? We've got dozens of signals going all the way to Australia for Croncy and back, and it was not great. So we got the
new follower. Welcome to the Red Legion.
Look, it's fine. I definitely didn't hear some sadness in Echo Bit's voice. It's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about what's actually going to happen today, though. So all of our races are basically ready to go. They were waiting on us. So thank you very much, races. So they're going to be starting any second now. So to quickly go through it, it is day number 2 of the qualifiers, and today actually matters a lot. It matters a ton today what happens. So we've got the A Crux, the Crux 2, and the Crux 3. And if you want to see some information on those divisions, you go mark Crux Cup in the chat. And these are the fastest races of the entirety of the Crux Cup. And they actually have to meet certain lap times in order to qualify. So that's very, very important. Now, luckily, we are going to be able to tell you what lap times everyone's getting. We do have that sort of all of that information on the side. So that's good, so we can relay that to you. But because of this little scuff situation, if there's anything you guys want to know about the state of the race or the state of the races, let us know. We will try to get that to you.
Yeah, and if we do have to have a backup option next time, we promise to have cleaner overlays set up. We are improvising as it happens, and like I say, we're very impressed with the organization level of EchoBit and his team. It looks like all the racers are set. They have been briefed on the formation, and aside from our brief technical difficulties, we're ready to go get some qualifying times. Now, the A-Crux, they need to qualify with 3 minutes 30 seconds. The AX2 needs to qualify with 4 minutes 30 seconds, and the AX3 needs to qualify with 5 minutes 30 seconds. And those ships are pretty impressive, actually. So the A-Crux is Herald only. Those are some of the top racers right now. AX2 is the P72, the 350R, and the M50. And the AX3 is the Mustang Gamma, the Mustang Omega, the Misk Razor, the Razor EX, and LX. So we expect to see some good times today. Now, it's not going to be the heavy racers we saw yesterday, but these will definitely be impressive times and some big names coming in throughout the Star Citizen racing community. Can you talk to us about a couple of those, Croncy?
Yeah, so a lot of the names specifically in the A-Crux, but you'll also notice a couple in the AX2 and AX3 that absolutely consistently crush throughout the entirety of these races. They're in XGR all the time. They're in the Atmo events all the time. So you're gonna recognize some of these names. Starting off with a couple of absolute slam jammers, Shaknu and Splen. Now these guys, in my opinion, have the best rivalry in Star Citizen so far, as they are constantly trying to outdo each other as much as they can in every single division, every single race. Anytime a record comes up, one of them has to break it. If they don't, they'll always feel a little bit sad. So we always get a good showing from them, so it's going to be really, really cool seeing them today. Now, they have also, a couple of these races have already qualified because they've been coming to the practices and they've been getting their times. So that's Tint. Tint is someone we know as well. Splen, Data Machine, Shaknu, Red Wolfwood, Strazik, and Fedakol. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that, but they have all already qualified, so they can already they don't need to come today, but we will see a couple of these names come in today, just get a little bit of practice, see if they can improve upon their times. Yep. The people in the Crux division that we want to look out for is Dollar Store Easy, who is actually part of Team Splen, so their team has qualified, but Dollar Store obviously wants to himself get in there. BSI, Renlos Malik, and Furious Banter, those three races do not have qualifying times up yet, so they need to beat the 3-minute 30 today in order to run the Crux next week.
Yeah, for the AX2, we've got actually one of the teams is the Shaknu fan club. You talked about the rivalry between Shaknu and Splen. I will say I've been impressed at the consistency of those two racers. That when I see a new record time posted by one, it's a matter of hours before the next one's got another fractional of a second improvement, but they do it. Now, from the Shaknu fan club, we have Hobo Sloth 28 and Playing Fox that are both in the AX2 running P72 Archimedes. We've got Ninjetti and Epic Wink, as well as Energy, which are running P72s. In addition, Canadian Maverick and OTE the Missile. Canadian Maverick running in a 350R, beautiful looking ship, and OTE the Missile with the M50. Rounding out, we've got a few more racers in there. Do you want to talk through Sanji and down that list?
Yeah, so another couple of names that are absolutely huge within the racing community. We've got Sanji, Summer, and Diplomat. For a lot of people, you might recognize Diplomat as of scr.gg fame. Actually created that website and has been helping racers for a little over a year now, I believe, get some record times in. 2 years actually now, sorry. Get some record times in and actually, push the community a little bit more to constantly be smashing through some of these racetracks. We're always very appreciative of Diplomat. And then Sanji Sama, just an absolutely fantastic racer. We see them all the time running, once again, these XGR events, these AMO events. So it's really good to see them. And so they've hit the 421. But when we then get to all of the people that, once again, need to qualify today, which includes a couple of cool members there. So starting off with, we've got Very Average Gamer, who's going to be participating today in the 350R, which means I'm very excited for that because it means we're going to see some fighting with Canadian Maverick. It's always cool to see that vehicle pop out. Iban72, Radwolf, Broccoli Rob, Scuttled. They're all running the P72 today, hoping to get qualified. Two members of CIG, Noble 737 and Sunny, are going to be participating today in the AX2, trying to get their qualification times. And then rounding it out, we've got Truck 2639, Atrix, and Ondo. So we've actually got quite a few there. I think by count 9. We've got 9 races looking to qualify for the AX2 today. They have to get a 4 minutes, 30 seconds or better in order to participate next week.
All right, and I am actually just navigating through. I've got a list. I think those are the attended racers right now. Some of them from that list were not there. I'm just quadruple checking everything on my end because, yeah, we want to make sure we get everybody represented who is here. The AX3 class, have you got that list pulled up? I'm about to...
Yeah. So AX3, which is the third division we've got there. So we've got the Razor LX, we've got the Gamma, we've got the Omega, and that's what we're going to see actually racing in this region. So first off, we have Neojet. Once again, absolutely huge name in the racing community. Absolutely cracked at the endurance vehicle races, ground races. So always really, really awesome to see that. We've got Smithy PL, we've got Zolna, Quelsa, Mr. Dreipner 95, Kane's V, X Prime, Pub Princess, and Captain Spready. All of those races have qualified already coming through practices, so they're going to be fantastic. After that, we've got a bunch of people who need to get some times in. So we've got It's Gaming running the Razor, Stone Rider, Scar Citizen, Cuck Monster, Lugar, Wilco, they're all in the Razor. We've got Salem Frost, once again, another name that we see a lot of times in the racing community. They're running an Omega. We've got Lord Kamek, Beatdown, Doralai, and Drift ACR. They're all rounding that one out as well. So in the AX2 and AX3, we've got a lot of participants today that are looking to actually get some times in. So as we get those times in, we're going to look through those. We're going to see, all right, cool, they're in next week. We'll let you know.
Yeah, fantastic. So we're looking at some race officials. I see one person still moving through. It looks like Port Olisar, but everyone else is set on the grid. Canadian Maverick looking at rejoining. We got any word from the racing crew whether they are good to go? It looks like we are formation late.
It's going to be starting in just a minute.
1 minute. Fantastic. So this formation lap, it sets the initial pace. Everyone's going at 150 meters a second as they go through. They're starting at Kaplan. And let me actually pull up the track guide for us. So we start off at, we're actually at Milford, loading up, and they're going to pass through the Gentleman Mile up to the Kaplan platform. And Kaplan is the start and finish. From Kaplan, we will be moving up to the Providence platform. As it resets, so Kaplan to Providence, from Providence down to the Shimura platform, from Shimura over to Milford, and back to Kaplan. They do have a pit track going out of Kaplan up to the spaceport. So from Kaplan, Echo Climb through Providence, down through Butter the Bread, into Rubber Ducky Pass after Shimura to Milford, and then the Gentleman Mile back into Kaplan.
Yeah, so it's obviously a race that you'd be very familiar if you joined us yesterday or last year when we played again. One of the big things to remember during the course of this race, and it looks like possibly the formation lap has begun, from what I can tell. Basically, it's less about maneuverability, as you might notice with some of the new racetracks that came out in 318, and it's more about boost control and choosing your fights. Because this is run very similar to a Formula One event, you have to fly safe. If you get into collisions, you're going to have some penalties put onto you, as well as you obviously don't want to crash in general, because then you lose some laps.
Absolutely.
And that's never good.
And it is worth noting, you do have to pick your fights. You got to choose when to refuel. We saw a couple of racers yesterday running out of fuel during the event. Unfortunately, you are going to have to reclaim your ship, try and rejoin, and that's a costly mistake if you don't engage that properly. So we'll see if people are who's able to manage that properly today. If we see anybody, we expect with these faster racers, they'll have a little bit more of a heads up. We'll definitely see a lot more laps with the 3.5 minute times that they're going for. 3.5 to 5.5 minutes. I think yesterday's we had a couple that were in that 5.5. Was that correct? Or I think we definitely had 6s and 7s.
Yeah, we did have a couple of people in the 5.5 round. One of the things that was really interesting, though, was some of the people who I can't remember which ship it was. I guess it was the Defender that was kind of almost able to participate in like the A-Crux. Like, it's actually that fast that it makes it kind of insane. But for those at home that don't know, the A-Crux is only the Herald. That's the only vehicle we're going to see is A-Crux division today. But it was cool to see that. It was also really awesome to see a ship not have to refuel the entire time until right at the end when they crashed before.
The car to all. It put together, the times weren't quite as impressive, but the fuel capacity on that car to all was surprising. I think they got it to close to 58 minutes before it completely ran out of gas. So maybe with a little bit of boost control, you're able to put that ship through. Now the car to all does have its downsides, but yeah, we're going to be seeing some very interesting strategies today with that standing. So
yeah, for sure. So once again, just as a quick overview, as we start to see some races go through the paces now. In the A-Crux division, once again, assuming that these races have turned up today, we're looking at mostly Dollar Store Easy, BSI Renlos Malik, and Furious Banter. In the AX2 division, we're looking at The Very Average Gamer, Iban72, Radwolf, Broccoli Rob, Scuttled, Nobble, and Sunny from CIG. I'm really hoping that they can qualify today. Truck, Atrix, and Aondo. And lastly, in the AX3, we're looking at It's Gaming, Stone Rider, Scar Citizen, Cuck Monster, Logar Wilco, Salem Frost, Lord Kamak, Beatdown, Doralai, and Drift ACR. That's a lot of races.
That is a lot of racers. Now, I'm seeing some gaps in the current racer setup numbers versus what's actually on the scorecard. We'll need to keep an eye out, and it does look like we're seeing folks come through that platform. We may be actually starting that race. We see those first right at the front, and we'll need to watch out for some of the alerts that pop up, because we did see first crash right there. Dollar Store Easy hitting the platform right off the bat. You've got to watch those lines. You've got to be careful. There's a lot of obstructions that can run your race a little rough.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. So so the laps have begun, which means, well, how long is it going to take for us to see a couple of results? Well, the Heralds should be able to do this in roughly 3 minutes, 10 seconds. We're probably going to see, a couple of 3-minute 30s, 3-minute 40s or whatnot, depending on what people want to do. It's not about getting as many laps in as you can. It's about getting a really nice qualifying time. So you're going to see probably a couple of these races not really go too hard at the start. Maybe just get used to the track again. Maybe on lap 4, they say, all right, it's time, and they absolutely blow it out of the park. And
we see Tint, Splen, and Data Machine up near the front. Those Heralds, no surprise. I've got Splen right here, just behind Tint, 800 meters in that Herald, and he is lined up sideways right through the mail slot, and quite a turn there.
Under the antenna as well.
Yeah,
under the antenna. That is
obviously very well practiced with this track. Very well practiced. So,
Have you seen them? I want to know. So while we're waiting on the results for the first lap, firstly, what is your favorite new racetrack from 318?
My favorite new racetrack, I'm partial to Yadar Valley. I like the environment there. It's a tight track. Now, I will say I've been doing a lot of the tracks there. The Snake Pit, because it was the original, I practiced there. We had actually the Saber Raven. We had a Raven rally that we did a time trial just within the Saber Raven Owners Club. That was it was a learning experience, and I would say the Snake Pit itself is a very compact track. You're going to be looping very tightly around, where something like the Lorville Outskirts is a little bit more spread out. You're going to have more space to really dive through. But Yadar Valley is a good combination, and it's got I think my favorite is that high jump section. You come through and you got to take that loop up right into a slalom. It just certain things feel like you're really doing like the Red Bull races, and I would say that's definitely one of them that captures that essence. So.
Yeah, it is very, very cool to watch. One of my favorites is honestly Kaplan Circuit, which is partially part of the track today, which is kind of cool. But I do have to say, watching some of the highest performing races at the moment do Kaplan Circuit. You've got to do that like slalom, right? Through the sections of Kaplan. Watching Splen and Shaknu fly through that is honestly just the biggest treat of all time. And it looks like one of our cameras may have just exploded.
Oh my. We have that was Splen. Was that Splen down? Oh my goodness. Splen. Okay, we did have Sanju Sama, who destroyed on the Kaplan platform. Now, Kaplan is the initial platform. Did Splen get himself complete for the first lap? It does not look like he got the first lap completed.
Yeah.
So we've got the first results. Tint coming in with 3 minutes 7 seconds. Data Machine at 3 minutes 10, and Fetical at 3:28. So, there we go.
So
Splen destroyed.
Yeah, so all of those are within the qualifying times. Now, once again, these guys have already qualified, but it's interesting to see, especially with Tint already pulling out first lap at 3 minutes 7 seconds. It's incredibly fast, as a lot of the times that we've already seen from some of our other competitors in other days, the best is a 3 minute 3 seconds by Tint, to be fair. So, I mean, if anyone's going to push it, that is going to be Tint.
And Noble 737 CIG, ship destroyed at Kaplan as well. That, man.
Oof.
That's a rough break. Noble, we look forward to your return. Let's hurry it back in.
Yeah.
Now, we're looking at Canadian Maverick in the 350R. He's coming up on that initial platform. And yeah, keeping an eye out there. We have a couple of folks who are at the Providence platform waiting to rejoin. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah. If yesterday is anything to go by, it's probably going to take them about 7 to 10 minutes to get back, get their ship out, all that other stuff, assuming that hopefully the server is nice to us today, which it was mostly okay with us yesterday, right? We didn't have too many issues. I think only like 2 hangars broke, which is not bad when you've got, 30 people trying to pull stuff out.
You see those P-72s come through that narrow slot. This is how you shave the 1 or 2 seconds you need right between those pillars coming off of these platforms. It is a tricky business getting those perfect lines. We've got over here as well. I don't have this is Epic Wink, almost blacking out on that P-72. Really pushing the G-forces. Yep. That's how you put in record times. That's how you get it done.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm just gonna have a quick look here. Let's see if we've got any of our non-qualifiers yet in, because we've got quite a lot to go through. So I'm just gonna have to try to scan through these. Ayondo, there we go. So Ayondo in AX2 as part of Far Out, which is actually Diplomat's team, has qualified. There we go.
Fantastic.
4 minutes and 9 seconds. So they're going to be able to participate next week, which gives them, 2 opportunities to get into that first, second, and third place. Atrix as well from AX2 got a 4 minutes and 14 seconds. So they are in it for next week. Once again, these guys are still going to want to improve on their times just for bragging rights mostly, but we'll see that in the coming seconds. If we have a look at AX3, what have we got? So we've got Smithy had already qualified. We've got a lot of people that come to the practices, which is really nice to see, but it makes my job right now really hard.
You know what? Names are hard, and the good news is we have an entire list that's fed to us. We do see Data Machine picking up at 3 minutes 5 seconds for his most recent lap. They were within 1 second of each other between Data Machine and Tint. Data Machine just taking a slight lead.
Yeah, I would, from what I'm seeing already, so I know Data Machine is an absolutely, once again, a beast of a racer. Tint is someone I'm not really familiar with, but seeing the times that they've been able to put through in the practices, and then already 2 laps in, got a 307 and a 309.
Yeah.
I am very, very confident that Tint is going to be probably the racer to watch next week for the A-Crux, but we haven't seen Splend. Splend crashed, so let's see what he can do when he comes back.
Watching us a couple of, is this another Herald? Yeah, that's the M50. Oh, no, that is the Herald. They look a little different sideways. All right.
Yep.
Now, we do have Smithy Pie and Neojet. They're running the Mustang Omega. That's one of those exclusive ships. I've got to say, I am a fan of those.
Yep.
Yeah, if there was an exclusive ship you could get your hands on today, which would you choose?
Do I have to say it?
I would love you to.
You have my stream key. I'm kind of scared if I say the wrong thing.
Hey, you know what? There's no judgment here. There is a right answer, but we will permit whatever you'd like.
Unironically, the Saber Raven. Like, actually, I really love the Saber itself. It's my favorite, like light-ish fighter, because it's whatever. But yeah, it's my favorite fighter in the game, right? So the Saber Raven, 100%. Actually, genuinely, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's one of the.
What's your favorite?
I really appreciate the Saber Raven. I will say the utility, the way that it's functioning right now. It's in a bit of an odd state because the EMPs hit themselves. There's a number of just balancing things that make things difficult within the ship. But yeah, I would say the Raven. I actually got to have a conversation with Nathan Dearsley. Sent an email and got a very good response on his kind of the origin story of the Saber Raven. How it came out as a kind of a personal leveling up project from him when they had finished the Saber, and it was actually not supposed to ever see the light of day. It turns out that Chris and Aaron Roberts were doing a studio tour, and saw this little project ship he was working on, and it sparked some interest, and that's how the Raven came to be. So,
Fair enough.
Quite interesting. We do see Splin here on his view coming up from the platform. So a quick recovery, hopefully. I did not get a view. Did not get to see whether Splin has a backup ship ready to go there, but. I'm assuming these racers come prepared with 2 or 3, a mini fleet, if you will. So we just wait on a couple of ships coming in.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, from what I can tell, it's possible they just haven't completed a lap yet, but Dollarstore, Easy, Renloss, Malik, and Furious Panther are not currently on the board. I don't know if that's because maybe possibly they haven't attended today, or they may just not have gotten laps yet. The A-Crux division may look like what we've seen it as already, but we'll see. We'll see what happens over the course of the next hour.
We'll look. I don't see any comments there. I do see a few updates. The missile ship destroyed at the Shimura platform, as well as Atrix also exploded. Now, as we go throughout the race, there is the potential for debris to cause issues on the track. Folks that leave behind ship parts, as well as the fact that some of these hangars have been known to stall out. We don't see a great... We don't see a great reliability there. What type of impact does that hangar functionality wildcard mean for players?
So yeah, it really depends, because you do have access to quite a lot of hangars in this location, and because of the amount of people that we have here, it's very unlikely that anyone who isn't part of the event is at Orison at this stage, basically. So if we get to a point where maybe 5 hangars are unusable, that could be really rough. I think anything less than that isn't going to be a huge issue as long as people are actually getting off the pads fast enough. But we'll see. Once again, yesterday we had, I think, only 2 hangars ended up breaking, and so we had no issue of people actually getting back in. I can't say anything about possible hospital issues, because we all know how Orison can be sometimes. But for the most part, it was okay. So hopefully that doesn't happen today, but it's a thing that's going to be under the players' minds. If the servers are acting a bit particularly bad next week, or the patch has been a bit rough, then the racers will be more careful. They will. They understand that, and they're sensible about that.
It does look like we have Splin back in the race here after that destruction. So very, very narrow approaches there. We'll need to keep an eye on that. As the racers go through. Moving over to Epic Wink. That's coming through the Shimura platform, just behind Splin, and hopefully free of debris here. It looks like they've got a pretty clean run. And you do notice these gentlemen are taking very close approaches here, right as he goes through that the very small gaps, and that's really as you're pushing the limits during the qualifying races. You're trying to get those times, better pole position when we do the formation. For the actual official races that are going to be happening next week. So, do you want to talk about the official races and what we can expect there?
Yeah, so while today all we really care about for the most part is what your fastest lap time can be, the actual format of the Crux Cup itself is similar to the qualifiers. It's a 2-day event, so we'll be back here basically same time next week, Saturday, Sunday. Day 1, we've got the Open, the Heavy, and the Aurora divisions. They'll be competing, and it's all about how many laps you can get within an hour. Basically, it ends up being like within an hour and 5 minutes or so because of some technicalities of how we actually finish the race. But for the most part, how many laps you can complete within an hour, that is where your placing will be. What we saw yesterday was actually some pretty cool things where you will see a little bit of, some of the heavies will, some of the heavies will pass some of the people in the Open and whatnot, but it doesn't really matter. You're only competing, at least for prizes, within your own division. But there's, of course, bragging rights. So that'll be the first day. Second day, we've got what you're seeing today. So we've got A-Crux, Crux 2, Crux 3. So it's all about speed and a little bit more competitive. The day 2, the main event, basically. The A-Crux really is the main event of the Crux Cup. Now, one thing, prizes. So I don't know, once again, because good old scuffed.
We've got it up here.
Oh, fantastic. Well, all right, so let's have a look. We can have a look at the prizes. I do just want to quickly mention Tint did manage to finish his fourth lap at 3 minutes and 6 seconds, so he's closing that gap between himself and Data Machine Break.
Fantastic. So the Crux prize, first place gets the Hercules M2, the A1 Spirit plus Intrepid Paint, and the C8 Arcto Blue. Each team member gets that. AX2 with the 600i Explorer, the E1 Spirit for second place, and the Olympia Paint, and third place gets the C8R plus the Code Blue. And AX3 with the 400i, second place gets the C1 Spirit, and third place gets the C8R. Some fantastic paint options. Each team member gets that. The Open class, first place gets the Mercury Star Runner, second gets the X1 Velocity, and third place gets the Greycat STV. Aurora class, first place gets the Constellation Aquila, second place gets the C8R Pisces, and third place gets the STV plus Blue Steel. Now, we also get multi-tools, and we got Heavy. First place, Starfarer, C8R for second place, and third place is Cutter. Fantastic amount of prizes there on the line for our folks running the race today. I would say it was both donations within the Crux Cup organizing team. We had some CIG official sponsored. We did have, there was another event that popped up. Looks like we had Gentleman Jez, Hangar 8 and Hangar 4 are now non-functional. And we have, did we have a second crash from Sanji Sama? Off track, crashed into the side, no debris. Dollar Store Easy, first lap at the Kaplan track. He had a system freeze up, but is now back on track. And these folks, yes, definitely pushing the limits here as far as those platforms and clearances.
So. Yeah. So yeah, just back on the prizes again, because I just have to keep shouting it every time we say it. The most amount of a prize pool ever in a Star Citizen event, as far as I'm aware. And we're currently streaming very scuffed. We're very professional. We know what we're doing, and we have definitely prepared for all eventualities.
I think what's not to be understated is our infinite ability to improvise. Right. This is the technical challenges of dealing with a multinational broadcast, especially we had up to 12 different video sources coming through today. And yeah, there are professional level studios that struggle with this level of technical integration, but you know what? The fact is, we've got we've got backups. We can make things work. The qualifier rounds today, just to get in there, get times, and this is the 1 hour endurance race for everybody. And as
including
we watch
us.
that, it's an endurance race for us. I mean, we almost lost you yesterday, but hopefully with a good night's sleep and I've had my coffee, getting ready for a good breakfast. And you know what? After this, I might go out and do some mining.
I mean, that's the strat, really, when I'm thinking about it. So yeah, the Data Machine has managed to get a fifth lap through, so we are well and truly on our way. We're 17 minutes into the laps now. Once again, let's have a look through. Let's see who we've got. So Noble has managed to complete a lap after their explosion, so they're going to be getting some times in now. I did see Dollar Store Easy did manage to get onto the track and has since completed their best lap time of 5 minutes 50 seconds. They're gonna have to get a bit better than 2 minutes of that in order to qualify. And Splen has completed his first official time with a 3 minutes and 9 seconds into that one. Let's have a look at some of the AX2s.
Yeah, going through AX2s. So we actually have Playing Fox and Epic Wink, both with P72 Archimedes, completing 5 laps. We have Energy, Ninjetti, both completing their times. Now, Epic Wink, fastest lap time at 3:36. We have Playing Fox at 3:34, so within a 1.5 seconds of those two. Energy at 3:37, Aondo at 3:42, and Hobo Sloth with 3:34. Then coming up with the 350R, Canadian Maverick, getting 4:05. And completing 4th lap there. We have in the AX3. You want to talk through some of these?
Yeah, so in the AX3, best at the moment that we've seen, at least lap numbers. We've got 4 laps with Zollner in the Razor LX. Quills are not too far behind. In fact, their best lap times are within 0.4 of a second of each other at the moment, which is kind of crazy.
And it is
very, very, very fast.
It is a game of fractional seconds. That is a fantastic showing from both.
Yeah. Continuing on, we have Smithy, who actually has a better lap time there in the AX3 with a 4:27, which is incredibly fast because Smithy's best time prior to today was a 4:27. So they are right on that number there. So that's some consistency that you want to be seeing. Continuing on, we got Mr. Dreipner has managed so far to pick up a 4:45. X Prime with a 4:49. We have Neojet, who at the moment before today had the best time in the Mustang Omega with the 4:26. His so far best lap is a 4:28, so just puts him a couple of seconds behind his best for that at the moment.
Now, we've also got kind of Splen, as you mentioned. Splen and Dollar Store Easy both having incidents earlier. Splen coming in with a 3-minute 9-second on his last lap. That is up there at record times. A quick call out on the Mustang Omega. 4 minutes 28, 4 minutes 40 seconds is about what you can expect with boost management for an appropriate full ring or full route there. And then we've got, of course, Noble with CIG coming in with 5:53 on his most recent lap, representing the Cloud Imperium Games team. So appreciate that very much. OTE the Missile with the M50 AX2, completing his most recent lap at 13:35. He had an incident there, and of course Sanji Sama, I think, who has had 2 separate incidents, has completed one lap at 10 minutes. We are currently at 21 minutes into the event, so.
Yeah, look, luckily, at least with these vehicles, if you do have a couple of crashes early on, it's not the end of the world because you are going to be completing these laps relatively quickly. I mean, the Sanji Summer's in the AX2, so we should see, a 4-minute 30 or less there at some point today. Maybe if we don't, if one of these races doesn't have a qualifying time by about the 45-minute mark, that's when I'd start getting scared at the moment. But there's plenty of opportunity here. Noble has actually just completed their second lap, and they have managed to get a 5-minute 53 seconds. So once again, they are in the AX2, so they have to bring that back down about 1 minute and 20 seconds in order to qualify.
Now, some additional race director comments happening. Hangar 7 is non-functional and invisible, so we'll need to watch out for that. Hangar 1 is appearing non-functional, but Hangar 4 is working again. Hangar 5 and Hangar 8. So we are down 4 hangars right now. And yeah, that definitely makes it a little bit difficult. We have Epic Wink, who exploded in the hangar during that's probably during a pit stop event. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. And Atrix, ship destroyed, coming out of Shimura on his second lap, dead at the entrance. Does not have any comments on debris, but it looks we've got a couple of folks running back in through their platform, and we have one racer approaching.
Yeah. One thing that's actually kind of interesting about some of these incidences that are happening today, very similar to the ones yesterday, but also you mentioned earlier, Hangar 8 and Hangar 4 breaking. The same thing happened yesterday. We had both Hangar 8 and Hangar 4 broken. I believe that those were the 2 hangars that we were having issues with. So I wonder if that's a thing. It feels like that must be a thing of those particular hangars breaking, which means in the future we could avoid those.
Well, it's possibly something that somebody could submit an issue council report for. If we find a consistent, repeatable pattern. Let's I think that's a good call out with Star Citizen being in an alpha. It's important that we get player feedback to help confirm bugs, submitting those bug reports. And yeah, the issue council is your best place to do it. A lot of folks, I am surprised they've never heard of the issue council. They never submit it. They come here playing the game, expecting it to be in a fully finished, polished pass, and I think it surprises a lot of people.
Yeah, it definitely does. I just want to take this opportunity again to thank Redmonster for everything he's doing today and for streaming through this. Make sure you guys go check out Redmonster. He is an absolutely amazing streamer, and if you don't go follow him, I'll know. Believe me, I'll know.
Yeah, and the one downside of the technical difficulties we're running into today is that the alerts and stuff aren't working for your channel, but I do appreciate Kronti letting me borrow his stream key, and I promise not to abuse that.
Yeah, you got it. We do actually have a question from one of the races. So at the moment, Playing Fox, who currently has 5 laps completed in the P72 Archimedes, asking what their time is. So I can tell you that your best lap time right now is a 3:34.991, and your previous lap was a 3:35.352. So incredibly fast for an AX2. So absolutely crushing at Playing Fox. And you have beat your PB. You have beat your PB, or at least your PB through the practices, which was a 3:38. So you've beaten that by a full 4 seconds.
And we've got a couple of additional alerts. Dollar Store Easy, lap number 3 at Providence Platform has crashed. No debris noted there. So another incident for Dollar Store Easy. Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
He had previously crashed at the Kaplan circuit during his first lap, so he's going to have one clean lap. Lap number 2, it looks like, but lap number 3, not his game.
Yep. All right, let's have a look. So we now have 23 races having completed laps today. It's been ever so trickling up as people have finally been able to get back in the running. Let's have a gander here. So here's what I'm gonna do, Red. I'm just going to shout out some names. I want you to tell me if you see them and see if we've got some extra qualifiers. Let's start with AX3. We've got a lot of people in this area. So we've got It's Gaming.
Okay, looking for It's Gaming.
Yep, we got Stone Rider. Don't see them. We got Scar Citizen.
Not on the list.
Huck Monster. Logar Wilco. Salem Frost, Lord Kamak. I don't think, actually, as far as I can tell, I don't think we actually have any of the unqualified AX3 members here, which is interesting.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind, if we go onto the setup tab, I think these are the racers that are present. There are quite a few that are missing in that. Obviously AX2, AX3 members potentially not attending today if they've already got qualified times, or maybe missing due to scheduling conflicts. That is always the potential. Events like this, it's difficult to get a big crowd together, and
yeah, it happens.
Especially since the event itself has been postponed due to the 318 performance issues. But they pushed 318-2 here on Thursday of this week, and it seems like performance has stabilized out.
Yeah, it has. It's definitely felt a lot better. Xenothreat has been a bit rough, I do have to say, but the majority of the stuff has been really good. And for things like this, it seems to be a really good, performing really well. So now's the time to go get your racing in. Start doing your 318. Start doing your practices of all these new racetracks.
Absolutely. And we just saw another Herald pass through, followed by a P72 Archimedes. The Herald going below the obstruction there, the Archimedes threading the needle right in that gap, getting the couple of extra seconds there. And Canadian Maverick coming up on one of the platforms. He is behind Prof Decoy and Noble, who is running their run now. Just a quick view here. Canadian Maverick is running with the landing gear down, but he is in decoupled. Let's talk about that. And also his hydrogen looks like we're down to about 25%. We'll start seeing people come in for their first refueling.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely see that as we go on. The 350R has a pretty decent tank for the most part, but yeah, as you saw, he's probably only about 20% left on that at the moment. So yeah, the landing gear down. So we noticed that a lot yesterday. The decoupled is one of the best things you can do to firstly preserve fuel because it's not launching all of your thrusters constantly, but also get a little bit more speed because you're maintaining some of your velocity. Matters a lot in space, but also still has a lot of instances here. Now, the problem is normally, though, when you do that, your nose will start to dip down, and so you've got to constantly be readjusting your ship, which is not ideal because then, as we were saying yesterday, you'll just end up getting some carpal tunnel, and then it's actually, it's a physical endurance thing. So what we've seen a lot of people do is they'll put their landing gear down, and that seems to stabilize them, but still allow them to continue to have decoupled on. Now, it's not. This probably isn't an intentional feature, but there's obviously nothing against using that. It's within the game at the moment, and it's also not a secret. It's a very well-known thing within the racing community that this is.
There are no bugs in Star Citizen. There are only features. And just wanted to call out that X Prime is in the pit lane. Says he cannot eat, so nutrition levels are going to be a difficult thing there. Mr. Drivebender at pit lane, ship was destroyed. Quelsar, ship destroyed at the end of the Kaplan tunnel. Quelsar coming in there. And also Splen, lap number 5 at the Milford tunnel. It was a start crash and no debris. So working on rejoining there for Splen. Seems like a rough day. We see a handful of folks still in the race. Our perspectives are shifting, but we've got Canadian Maverick moving in, keeping that pace, and of course, getting back and rejoining during these qualifiers is time consuming. But right now, they're just looking at best qualifying time for one lap, right? Just need to beat it once, and with a with a good qualifying time already, you're in good position. Maybe you push it a little bit harder. You get some of those margins. Sorry, we're losing a little bit of video frames on Mavericks.
While we're doing that, so I have a little announcement about Nobble from CIG. This is one of our CIG competitors. Has completed a lap of 4 minutes and 30 seconds, 0.357. So they need to shave off 3/10 of a second in order to qualify. They're very, very much on the cusp. They've got plenty of time to do it. They've got 30 minutes.
We've got trust in them.
Yeah, we've got trust in them. I want to see you in the event next week. Please, Nobble, just push it a little bit extra. You're so very close.
Yes, indeed. Now we've got a couple other folks making their return to the platforms. And Epic Wink back on the track, threading the needle again. This is I'm guilty of this. As you get into those really tight spaces, I find myself ducking. It's the level of immersion. It just feels like you really need to dial that in. So the part of the race today is obviously shaving off those qualifier times, and hopefully Novel can get a sub 30 minute or 30 second there. Shaving that 0.3 seconds, and the fact is that is what these time trial racing is about.
Yeah, exactly. And it does look like I've had a look at the competitors as well. So it does look like that Sunny was not able to attend today. So Novel is the one and only representation of CIG today, which means they have to qualify. It's in the rules that they have to qualify. So let's see it. It's a very small amount of time.
Yes, indeed. Now, two-man teams. One team member has to qualify, or do both need to put in those qualifying times?
So, in order to get prizes, you can be a support member and stuff. Usually, I'll have to double check with EchoBit if the rules have changed or not. But usually, you can be a support member and get that prize as well. It's CIG. They don't mind. They have all the ships anyway. But where it is interesting is with people like Dollar Store Easy and Diplomat, right? Where we're probably going to see one of those players in the top 3 because we only have I think it's 8 racers in the A Crux this year who have qualified. So you're getting your chances in there, so they can both get some really, really good prizes. I mean, Data Machine and Shacknut, they're on the same team as well. Red Wolfwood and Strazik, they're on the same team. One thing I do want to mention, I just noticed Data Machine has pulled ahead on fastest lap of the race so far with a 3 minutes and 4 seconds, only 1 second slower than Tint's PB.
Fantastic. Yeah, 3 minutes, 4 seconds. With the most recent, now that's lap 9 completed. We'll see what happens there. I'm wondering what their fuel level looks like as we are now approaching 33 minutes into this race.
Yeah, everyone's going to be making fuel stops at the moment, surely. I mean, we have seen not as many people cross the line recently. We haven't seen as many times completed, so it probably is about the time that people are starting to fill up, especially on food and water, which may be the case sometimes. Don't forget to do that before you start.
Yeah.
So let's have a look through here. Let's see what other updates we've got. So Splen managed to pull off a 3 minutes and 5 seconds on his fourth lap, which, once again, incredibly fast, would put him basically second in fastest speed today. Sanji Sama has completed 3 laps now, but hasn't had 1 lap to fully go for it yet. So we're still waiting to see if Sanji can get that time in. Now, Sanji has I believe already qualified. If I have a quick look through, Sanji has already qualified, but it'd still be good to see kind of what times that they can get today. Atrix has managed to push off a 4 minutes and 14 seconds, so they have qualified. Dollar Store Easy still on 4:48 as their best lap today, and they do need to get that better than 3 minute 30, so they've still got a little bit of time to push that one off. But yeah, as we see through, people are just absolutely smashing it. I really hope we can see Tint. I want to see a PB today. I want to see Tint push off better than his 3 minutes, 3 seconds, and 3:58 milliseconds.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the list here now. We've got so far everyone down the list has qualified within their class. We've got the AX2 needing to get 4 minutes 30 seconds, the A-Crux needed to get 3 minutes 30 seconds, and the AX3 needing to get 5 minutes 30 seconds. I'm not seeing anyone so far that has not qualified. We got folks that are on the margins here. Sanji,
for AX3, it seems like it's everyone has qualified today, which is great. It's really in the AX2 and the A-Crux where we've got a couple of people that are sitting on the fence.
Yeah, we saw Playing Fox, who was looking for his qualifying times. I did not see anybody that had not qualified. He's got the AX2 at 3:34, so having to beat 4:30, he is there. And did we have the official CIG? 4:32.8. Okay, that is, we're waiting on Noble to complete a clean lap at sub 4 minutes 30 seconds. Just barely off of that. Now, most recent lap at 33:51. We're at 36, so we'll see Noble come in, and hopefully this most recent lap will get them qualified.
Yeah, not only that, but a full 0.1 second faster than their previous lap. So they're definitely, Noble's definitely making their way through. I think we'll see it. Noble, but send it your all, see what you can do. Now, you did mention, I think that, Playing Fox, with that 3:34 is the best time that we've seen in the AX2 so far. So previously, Billboy had a 3:37.57 in the P72, and Playing Fox, has beaten that by a full 3 seconds today already. So once again, if I'm looking at anyone next week for the AX2, it's definitely Playing Fox, but they're going to have a lot of people on them. They're going to have Maverick, you're going to have Sanji, you're going to have Diplomat. It's going to be an uphill battle, but you've definitely put yourself in a good spot.
And, a good comment from chat, racing without figuring out how to avoid slamming into the wall. That is part of the racing gameplay right now. It's just understanding, learning the tracks. You are going to die. You're going to be stuck with quite a lot. Now, Canadian Maverick, it looks like, was trying to refuel. He was going to a pit stop at Providence Platform, but has gone up to Port Olisar, actually, as a backup. That is an interesting strategy as we get there. Whether or not people are able to refuel, if things are working, and in addition to refueling, that hydration level, maintaining that, and we're really going to need to keep an eye on that. Hopefully that's something that we'll see better performance on, but a quick shout out for Sigelian and some of the other refueling crew. They have Starfarers on station that can provide some of those refueling services now. There's some technical difficulties going on with that as well. Definitely something that we may start relying on in this the final races. And gentlemen, Jez, Hangar 3 is on the bad list, and then overall Orison Landing Services having a bad moment, those call-outs. Splen had, during lap 6, collision with debris. I think we may have already called that one out. Zollner was at Providence exiting and had a ship destroyed there. Hopefully some of these are coming back in. I do see Splen returning to the track. and really getting the red out. Interesting note here. It looks like Splen has unequipped Quantum Drive. There are no weapons attached. Do your weapons and loadout make a difference in your performance from current racing gameplay?
Look, they definitely do. They definitely do. But do give that the information that I have gotten about whether they do or not has been from Splen. So if Splen is wrong, then it's his fault. But I have been told, yes, it very much does make a difference. Now, it may not make a difference if you're doing something like the 318 time trials, but in an event like this, where milliseconds can matter, definitely makes a difference. Now, I do have a little bit of news for you. Two big things. Firstly, I did actually miss Billboy. Did manage to get a 334.17 in the AX2, actually beating their teammate Playing Fox currently for their best time today. But both of them being very, very ahead of the competition. And Nobble's lap 6, Nobble CRG's lap 6 is a 4-minute 29 seconds, 0.503. They have officially qualified for next week. We will see CRG in the event.
And looks like Diplomat has destroyed location unknown at the pit lane. Wanted to keep an eye on that. And of course, very excited to have Noble with CIG official crew representing. One thing I wanted to call out as you watch Splen here has been going through the tunnels. He's been sending out that active ping. This is something I mentioned yesterday. As you get in there and the clearance and the overall visualization is difficult to see. You're coming into the narrow tracks. Yes, he sends out this active ping and it creates that virtual overlay. And of course, going through right as we're demoing that to change his key bindings up. You do that during the straightaways and you hope you're quick enough on the buttons. So we'll let him manage that. Be very interesting to see how he's got his key bindings set up for these type of races, and maybe talk about how a lot of these folks are we doing dual joysticks, HOTAS? What type of inputs are they relying on? Racing on keyboard and mouse is difficult, but not impossible. You just need that extra precision of control. So,
yeah, definitely. And interestingly, if the stream had worked the way that we would hope it would today, we actually could check that. We do have some racing profiles that we're going to go through with you guys next week that do show what some of these racers prefer to use. Some of them will be HOSAS and whatnot. I've got to imagine the vast majority of the races though are on HOSAS. There's just something about HOSAS that's really solid. You know what I mean? It's very very. This is good. I don't know.
I think the fact is you've got the 6 degrees of inputs. You need all of your translational and rotational controls with a spaceflight simulator because you can really move in all 6 degrees. Your forward, back, left, right, up, down. But then your pitch, yaw, and roll. You need full control of all of those axes and the precision of controls. Versus a mouse, mouse has the precision, but keyboard, it's a binary off and on. You don't have that proportional control in between, where a lot of these folks, they're going to be relying on that precision because you've got to have a fractional maneuver here to make things work. Just looking at the end of track cam. My camera, I had my ship parked near the end of the Milford Tunnel, but of course... disconnected due to inactivity. I guess the CIG does not want us to be occupying server space if we're not active, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Yep. So I do believe it was either Atrix or Ayondo. I think it might have been Atrix has finally qualified with a 4 minutes and 2 seconds on their 5th lap. So they are also in it. So I do believe now everyone who is racing at the moment is qualified for next week, so everyone can rest their shoulders a little bit. Now just go for some good times and see what you can do. Try to learn from some of the other races that you're seeing as they come past. That's what it's really all about now. And for us, it's about who is going to put their best foot forward for next week. So right now we have Data Machine, Tint, and Fedicol in the most amount of laps completed in the Crux division, but Playing Fox absolutely crushing it with 10 laps in the Crux 2 division also completed.
Yeah, the AX2 definitely getting that 10th lap in. Mostly a clean run. Data Machine, though, at 11 laps, At 42 minutes, we're now coming up on 45 minutes left. We will see, it looks like the most recent lap from Canadian Maverick, that was with the pit stop that was scuffed. He flew up to Port Olisar and rejoined, apparently only costing him 5 minutes on the most recent lap time. So it'll be interesting to see if folks are able to manage that. Ninjetti, also 7 laps, the most recent at 12 minutes. So a bit of a longer overall lap time. That's on a P72 Archimedes, which will not have the option of going up to Port Olisar. No quantum drives installed there. So maybe that's a strategy for the 350R compared to the P72. Let's see.
It may be the case, and we'd have to sort of figure out, but it may be within the rules that we do have players allowed to do that. We do try to kind of make it that like we give everyone every advantage they can have, because we know anything can happen, right? It's Star Citizen sometimes, so still pretty good. So,
and we do have our first DNF.
First DNF to be.
Mr. Drapiner has a did not finish with the Razor LX. He had 6 laps completed, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. Sanji Sama, Kaplan, ship destroyed. Looks like that was a previous did not finish, retired from dry during the pit lane at lap 6. So.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate there. They should still be fine for next week, but yeah, absolutely kudos to them. We're still seeing some absolutely insane times. A couple of laps back, I don't believe I mentioned this, we did see Data Machine able to get a little bit better on that 304 time. He managed a 304.25, so encroaching on that 3.3. Playing Fox did manage to get a little bit better on their time. So their best lap time at the moment is a 334.9. Still a little bit slower than their teammate at 334.1. But a very solid effort nonetheless, especially with 11 laps completed.
Yeah. Dollar Store Easy, just getting a confirmation. This is an additional crash. Crashed. 5th crash, gets a free Sunday. So I think that's crash number 3 for him. He's got a couple to go, but hey, you know what? I'm a fan of ice cream.
Also, speaking of that, I had misspoken earlier. We actually do have someone who has not qualified yet, which is Dollar Store Easy. They have not pushed a 3-minute 30 time yet. So that's the person that we're all hoping for. So Dollar Store, I want to see you there. Let's forget that crash. It never happened. It's all about the times that you can pull off now.
And let's just compare here. Now, Dollar Store is running a Crux with the Herald. He is at 4:06 on his current best lap. That was lap number 6. So Dollar Store on Team Splen, he's definitely working to make that qualification time. But already with Team Splen has gotten in there. And there goes one of our Heralds.
But you always want that second person in there, right? Especially so you can claim multiple prizes.
Yeah.
But
well, insurance.
I think they can get there. I think they can get there. They've only got 30 seconds to shave off, and we're seeing some really, really good performances from everyone today. And Dollar Store is by no means a slow racer. They're a very, very competent player. So
now,
so another thing, once again, I've seen some people ask how many laps there are. This is not a lap-based event. It's an time endurance-based event. So it's basically how many laps you can do within an hour.
And again, we're watching here on Splen. Coming up on that tunnel, he is doing the active ping to do that virtual overlay, and really trying to bring in that obstacle right at the front of Kaplan. They revised this track, they revised the platform as they added the Kaplan Circuit racing track, but it's added some obstacles, some debris there that makes it a very difficult. And you watch, he's got himself set up. As you come out of these platforms, there's a specific heading you've got to aim for. Once you're at your appropriate heading, you just burn it. He is decoupled. He is boosting to the max as he gets through that turn. And Splen currently at 25% hydrogen fuel. So he will be definitely looking at doing a refuel soon. So, and as he gets into this tunnel, just watching as he boosts, he's waiting till the end, and hopefully we'll see it happen right about now. There we are. Boosting into that turn, and then boosting for the straightaway all the way through full burn, and just sending it properly. So,
Yeah, I do wonder here, as we are about 12 minutes away from the white flag being flown. I do wonder if we'll see them even go for another refuel, because you're going to probably lose maybe 2 laps worth of time if you do that. So it might not just be worth it. They might just full send it for a lap. But we'll find that out very, very soon, as our first 2 players have crossed the 12 lap mark, both Data Machine and Tint.
Yeah, Data Machine does have a ship destroyed in lap 12 at the beginning of the Milford Tunnel. And Aondo, lap 9 at the pit lane, he was impounded waiting for a new ship. So we'll have to see if the overall Providence platform here has been having a problem. That shipyard. We'll have to see what hangars are working still, whether or not it's ship refueling services are even valid right now. Very limited options, and especially for these Archimedes, without the ability to quantum travel away, it's going to be a bit of a rough time trying to get that set up. I'm watching Epic Wink right now. It looks like he's down below 20% hydrogen fuel, 10 to 15%, what I can see on screen. Bouncing in, we see Canadian Maverick. He did his refuel, so he's only down 25%. And Splen, as mentioned before, with that eye tracking going on, it looks like he's down to 10%. So we're going to see a pit stop from Splen soon, or he's going to risk falling out of the sky, running out of fuel just on that last moment. And of course, we do see Epic Wink coming in for the refuel. We're going to just see if we have vehicle services. It looks like he's stuck. So hovering in the station, waiting to do an official full landing, and see if that happens to be any better. And it looks like we may have landing services. The vehicle maintenance services may not be cooperating with folks. That is one of the challenges.
Yep. Hopefully we can get into a server next week that doesn't have a lot of these issues, but we are prepared for a bunch of different eventualities for that. We just weren't prepared for eventualities with the stream. Now, a little bit more of an update once again. Now, I did say I reckon Noble can pull off quite a bit of a faster time, and in fact, they have with a 4-minute 23 seconds in their most recent lap. So, never doubted them for a second. They always had it. I knew it. So, they'll get a nice qualifying time there. They'll get a couple more laps in here now as well.
And we got we're still waiting on a qualifying time from Dollar Store Easy. That was, I think, the only one that had not. Well, we did have Mr. Dry with the DNF lap 6, but putting in qualifying times before retiring. So we'll keep an eye on that. We have, unfortunately, it looks like Epic Wink has either backspaced or has run out of hydration. So we'll need to see what Epic Wink is going to do to recover. That's a bold strategy. And we also are seeing Splen here at the pit stop coming into Hangar 6. That is not on our danger list. So we'll see what the landing services look like for him. Coming in third person, a little bit of a scrape. Sideways scrub there. He is down to, I would say that's the last 5%. But vehicle services are not happy with people right now. And I think one of the things you're going to have to contend with is the rush to get something done here, but the inability of the system to give us that, to give us working refueling. It's one of those things with the alpha status that we just have to kind of manage through, and that's one of the keys to these racers having a good, successful final. During the official races. Who can navigate through these and kind of maneuver those issues. We're watching here Canadian Maverick. Now let's talk about overtaking. Yesterday we had a lot of the heavier ships. There was a much bigger time disparity between something like, say, we had the Gladius, the Arrows, the Bana Defenders, those putting in 4.5, 3.5 minute times, but we had the C2s that were also coming in with, we were close to 7.5 minute lap times. So a lot of overtaking happening there. And what's the protocol here? What should players be looking for if they're looking at doing an endurance race like this?
Yeah, so if you're in the heavy divisions or you're racing alongside the heavy divisions, always very important to remember that heavy always has the right of way. So make sure that you are being careful and you're not cutting them off and then causing them to crash and then causing there to be massive debris inside the platform. And there's a reason why it exists, right? You're trying to limit how many people's days are ruined sometimes.
Yeah.
In this in these faster divisions where all of the vehicles are quite small, probably the largest thing on here, if I have a look, is the 350R. I don't think there's that would probably be the largest vehicle that we're going to see on day 2. So you don't necessarily have to really watch out for much in terms of overtaking there, unless you do get into these instances. For example, when you enter Kaplan Stadium, you have to be incredibly careful if you are making that cut. There's a very, very small entrance that you can make if you are in these smaller fighters, where if there are 2 of you right next to each other, avoid a collision at all costs. It is better to avoid it than it is to risk it, cause a crash, cause a penalty, cause an incident, that sort of thing. So
yeah, and
that's most of what we'll be looking at here.
And just a couple of updates from the race director there. We have Hangar 4, which is still on the bad list. Diplomat crashed just before the finish line at Kaplan Circuit. Epic Wink at the pit lane, he ejected and died. Now that's we saw him struggling with the refueling, the ejection, obviously, potentially maybe sticky seats being a problem, but at the very least, that is one way to be able to guarantee a fresh ship. And Aondo also doing the same, ejected and died at that. We just saw Splen. It looks like he has a couple of heralds lined up. So he's got backups. He's got those on a claim timer. So you don't have to wait through that insurance claim. And we see Epic Wink coming back on the platform. We expect Epic Wink to be back on the track here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, for sure. So we've also seen Noble has once again increased on their time. They've gotten another second ahead. Neojet has managed to pick up a 4 minutes and 28 seconds, which would actually qualify them for the AX2. But a reminder that they're not in the AX2; they're actually in the AX3. So just some really, really fast times with some of these Omegas. Looking through as well, we've seen Fidecol has gotten their best time yet on their 11th lap, so they have picked up a 3 minutes and 16 seconds, putting them well in contention for next week. We also have Tint has now gotten their fastest lap with a 3 minutes and 6 seconds. So still a little bit slower than some of the other people in the Crux today, but also currently has the most amount of laps completed.
We are 14 laps in for Tint. We're at 56 and a half minutes, so we've got 3.5 minutes left. We're going to see 1, maybe 2 laps from the rest of the folks here. Another great call out, Noble CIG, most recent lap at 4 minutes 23. So obviously bringing that time down. We're a qualified time officially. We go through the list. We have Tint with 14 laps completed, 3:06 for the best. Playing Fox, 13 laps with the P72 Archimedes, 3:34 on the most recent. Data Machine in the Herald Crux, 12 laps completed, best at 3:04. Billboy with the P72 Archimedes, 12 laps, 3:34. Canadian Maverick in the 350R, 12 laps at 4:04. Epic Wink, 11 laps completed at 3:36 best time. Splen coming in with 11 at 3:05.8 best lap completed. Fedicol with 11, also in Herald, 3 minutes 16 best lap time. Energy, P72, 11 laps completed, 3:37 minutes best. Diplomat, 3:36 best lap time, 10 laps completed with the Archimedes. Smithy Pie with the Mustang Omega, 10 laps and 4 minutes 26 seconds for that AX3. P72 for Aondo, 9 laps at 3:39. Quelsar Prime with the Razor LX, 4 minutes 32, 9 laps completed. Neojet, again he said 4:28 with that 9 laps completed in the Mustang Omega. Noble, 9 laps completed with the 350R, 4 minutes 23 seconds. Zollner, Razor LX, 9 laps completed, 4:33 with the best lap time. X Prime with the Razor LX, 8 laps at 4:49. Ninjetti, 8 laps at 3:39 in the P72 Atrix, 8 laps at 4 minutes, P72. Dollar Store Easy with the Herald, 4 minutes 3 seconds, most recent. So hopefully Dollar Store is able to get one good lap pulled through. The missile in the M50, 7 laps completed, 4 minutes, 11 seconds. That was his most recent lap. But we have not seen from the missile since time 40. He has not checked in for a lap in quite a while. So he's either on the track still, or we've got refueling problems that he's waiting on a return from. Sanji with the P72, 7 laps completed, the best at 4 minutes, 0.06. And as we were doing that, I think Data Machine pulled in another lap completed. Bill Boy, we got quite a few folks that are working through. It does look like Splen is back on the track with his Herald. This one's right as we tune in.
Commentator's cuss.
Splen gives us the front row seat to really what it's like as an entry level racer, getting those explosions. Now, of course, Splen trying to push the times here, and we'll be hopefully seeing a bit less of that, obviously, during the official races next weekend. But overall, putting in a good showing today with 3 minutes 5 seconds, which is good enough, I think, for second overall best. Data Machine at 3 minutes 4 and Tint at 3:06. So we'll see if Tint can pull it in. Just looking at overall times, we haven't seen Epic Wink come back in with a lap completion time in a while. Epic Wink is in the process there. We just crossed over the 1 hour mark. So are we going to get additional racers through on their laps, or what's the official call from the stream or from the race director? It looks like Smithy Pie has a ship destroyed at the beginning of Providence. Fedicall just had a ship destroyed at the beginning of Milford. I think we saw that on the race director view.
So we should see the white flag somewhere here any moment if it hasn't popped up already. The only person left on the track that has not qualified yet is Dollar Store Easy. So they've probably got this lap, maybe another, depending on how the white flag falls, in order to qualify, and they need to shave 30 seconds off their time in order to qualify. So it's a big jump. They really need to send it, but thank you for giving us a little bit of action for the very end of the qualifiers.
Yes, indeed. And we got the folks looking in here just right at this end track. We see Epic Wink really pushing it hard. We'll hopefully see a good time there. And the one we were waiting on, we have one racer there. Sorry. Dollar Store Easy. 58 minutes was his last check-in with 4 minutes 3 seconds. We're going to see if Dollar Store Easy can pull in a qualifying time there as well. Important to get the second from Team Splen. So,
yeah, well, it was good to see, at least with a couple of the races. We have seen them beat a couple of their PBs, at least their PBs that they've been able to do through the practice sessions and whatnot. So it's really, really good to see some of those. Really good to see some of these names that I haven't been familiar pop in and absolutely thrash the competition today. It's really exciting for next week. People like Playing Fox, part of the Shacknew fan club. I mean, I think you're doing Shacknew proud. I think Shacknew might have to be the Playing Fox fan club right now for you. And Bill Boy as well as part of that team. That's going to be a really, really hard team to beat next week. They are within a second of each other and right at the top of the division.
That is worth calling out. They are very, very close. Let's see. Dollar Store Easy got a 3 minute 50 second on his most recent lap, checking in at 1 hour 2 minutes. We'll see if he's got. If I haven't seen a white flag call yet, have you? Mm-hmm. We're still in.
I have not seen it either. We might see it. Sometimes the timer is a bit off. Sometimes they do give some additional time based on certain issues. So we'll see what happens there. But what a beautiful shot that is of the Archimedes going through.
And Noble CIG crashed at lap 10 at the Providence platform. No CIG advantage. And we just had the race director pull the checkered flag. So I'm at least seeing that on the overlays.
Yeah, there we go. Speaking of Noble, actually, yeah, his last lap that he was able to complete was a 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So able to push that even further. So actually, yeah, really, really good job. We're going to see a lot of competition from Noble next week. That's awesome to see.
Fantastic.
And we now have kind of an idea of how many laps we're going to see next week as well, right? So probably the 15 mark or so for the Heralds, as long as we can get some nice refueling and whatnot in. But we even saw some of the members of the AX2 able to push that 14, 15 lap mark, maybe not having to refuel as much. Maybe they just had a little bit better luck with the refueling, which would be a bit unfortunate, but it is the way the game works sometimes. Yeah. All the way down to, I think for the most part on this division, it's probably going to be 10 laps plus that we're going to see on Sunday.
Yeah, and looking at the standings, those who have completed, Tint was able to push 15. We kind of see the folks who've had a couple of, it looks like the Missile may have retired there with the M50. Did not see a race update from 40 minutes on. So I would say a minimum 10 laps on the Group A. And, of course, Canadian Maverick setting up for the nice cinematic shot at the Zen Garden with that 350R. I fully expect that out of an Origin ship. So,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. So not much longer now. Well, there we go. That's basically for the most part qualifiers done. We'll see if any more times come in. How you feeling? I
feel like it was a great race day. We got to see some great times. We got to see some really notable names within the SC racing community. Not that we didn't see any yesterday. Right. I think there is definitely a strategy. You want to see where some of those top guys are set up. Maybe choosing a different class, give you a good shot there. It's the competitiveness within each class is going to be strong. Right. There are some folks that are known, dedicated, world-class racers who chose to go in the heavy division, and that's fine. It's the endurance race that this is about, and we saw that today with several racers getting multiple crashes, doing their best to come in and put in some record times, improve their positioning as we start off next week, going into the official races. But overall, I feel like today was exciting. We saw plenty of laps. A lot of great times put in, and some good flying. And I think from the passive observation, at least seeing a handful of folks that maybe there's something we could be learning as a community from how these racers are putting the track down. So
yeah. It was good to see today a couple of the people who needed to qualify did in fact qualify. We saw Noble from CIG qualify, which was awesome. So we're going to see that next week. We saw Atrix and Ayondo. They managed to pull off some awesome lap times today and get themselves in the AX2 as well. Unfortunately, it does look like Doorstore Easy in their last lap attempt had ship destroyed as far as I can tell. So that is going to be, they are not qualified for next week event, but they're still in Team Splen, so there's still prizes hopefully on their way if Splen is able to get that podium spot next week.
Yes, indeed. I think we're going to have some exciting times for next week. I'm looking forward to it. And we will have an appropriate backup instead of, we improvised today, working through the technical challenges. I think as far as being Star Citizen content creators, we've got a natural ability to improvise because so many times we run into, we get alpha. It's a very strong alpha feature that comes in sometimes. So I'm glad that we were able to at least improvise and make a workable stream today. Apologize that the audio, we're not getting the racing sounds and such. We would love to have those sounds coming across for you guys. And the promise is we go to the official. We'll have backups for our backups. So.
Yeah. Myself and Red are probably going to have a couple of, late nights for me, early mornings for him over the course of the next week. To make sure that we got some good
what
stuff.
What are time zones? The Earth is flat, so I mean, y'all are just making it up.
But yeah, as we're finishing, we want to thank you guys for watching the qualifiers. We want to thank the racers for participating today and yesterday and getting ready for this awesome event next week. We, of course, once again want to thank EchoBit and the whole crew, Gentleman Jez and all them for putting this together. And then, yesterday I said, why would they give us the commentary? And then today it's actually Like that was a joke. I didn't want everything to then break. But yeah, very, very much really want to thank those guys, particularly Echo Bit for the
congratulations. Yeah, Echo Bit and our race director, Gentleman Easy, our folks who were streaming their perspectives. We had Splen, we had Canadian Maverick, we had Epic Wink, we have Herbie. We've had a handful of other folks that have been really helping put this broadcast together, and of course, not to be left out, we've got folks like Sigelian that are on the Starfarer refueling crew, so the support team that are helping make this, despite the technical challenges, giving us options, giving those racers something that we can work through in case the systems aren't cooperating, finding those workarounds, and really having a good plan ahead of time. That all goes to Echo Bit and the ANZ racing team, who's put on this, and I'm excited to see who's going to take those prizes next week.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. There was a lot of play today that I saw. I had some favorites before today that have been obliterated. There are so many really, really good competitors today. It's very different.
Yeah. Now let's if you'd like, we can go through one last time on the overall standings. I'll get this just run through if you would like to read up on them.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to go through these in who had lap times, but you can sort of see who had the best lap times today for the most part. So getting 15 laps completed and actually being our first to complete today was Tint with a 3 minute and 6 seconds as their best lap time. Previously, they had a 3 minutes and 3 seconds as their best lap time beforehand. So obviously a very consistent, very fast racer. So awesome to see that. Playing Fox in the AX2 division managed to get 15 laps, 3 minutes, 34 seconds. Data Machine in the A Crux got 15 laps with 3 minutes, 4 seconds. Bill Boy, also part of Playing Fox's team, managed to get 14 laps with best lap 3 minutes 34.178 seconds. That's a 0.6.5 second difference.
On the verge of qualifying in the A Crux as well. That's the one thing. We've got qualifier minimums of 3 minutes 30 seconds for the A Crux, 4 minutes 30 seconds for the AX2, and 5 minutes 30 seconds for AX3. Just about everybody there qualified today. We had one miss it, and we did have Noble CIG come in, and it looked a little rough at the start, but was able to pull it in 4 minutes 20 seconds, bringing in a qualifying time. Yeah.
As we continue on, so we've got Canadian Maverick, one of my personal favorite races because they just refuse to fly anything that isn't a 350R. They managed to get 14 laps in, 4 minutes 4 seconds as their best lap. Epic Wink with the AX2, 13 laps, 3 minutes 36 seconds. Fedicol in the A Crux with a 3:16, 12 laps. Energy in the AX2, 12 laps, 3:37 seconds. Splen in the A Crux division, 3 minutes 5 seconds. And just a reminder as well about how the divisions work. Each division, you're only allowed to use certain vehicles, and the A Crux division is only Heralds. So you will see everyone in the A Crux division using a Herald. Continuing on, we got Smithy Pie in AX3, managed to pull off a 4 minutes 26 seconds as their best lap with 11 laps, which is sort of similar to what you were saying before. That would qualify them for AX2 theoretically, but they are going to be happy that they're in AX3 with such a fast time for that. Neojet managed to pick up a 4 minutes 28 seconds with 11 laps. Diplomat AX2, 3 minutes 36 seconds with 10 laps. Quelsa AX3, 10 laps, 4 minutes 32 seconds. Noble Cloud Imperium Gamers managed to get a racer in, and I'm very, very excited for that. They managed to complete 10 laps with 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And I'll leave the next couple to you, Red.
Yep, Ninjetti on the AX2, P72 Archimedes, 10 laps completed, best lap of 3:39. X Prime with the Razor LX, 10 laps completed, and 4:49 with the best lap. And then Atrix with a P72, 10 laps completed, 4 minutes with the best lap time. Aondo, P72 with 3 minutes 39 seconds best lap time. Zollner, Razor LX, 9 laps completed, 4 minutes 33 seconds for best lap. Dollar Store Easy from Team Splen in the Herald, best time was 3:50, 9 laps completed. And now I think Dollar Store Easy might get close to the record for the most crashes today. That was unfortunately why I think we missed out on a qualifying time there. A lot of issues that any racer can suffer. Sanji Sama, P72, qualifying at 3 minutes 56 seconds, best lap time, 9 laps completed. And OTE the Missile, 4 minutes 11 seconds, best lap time, 7 laps completed. Although we did not see an update from the Missile. after minute 40. So, and also Aondo, same there. I think they may have retired partway through. And then Mr. Dripin with the Razor LX with a DNF. Now, we'll have to clarify how that compares versus some of these other times. We did see Diplomat ended at about 49 minutes in. If these folks just had an explosion, decided not to check back in again, I think Splen was working on getting a finalization time, but crashed on that last lap. So, of course, the registration on that definitely worth looking into. But overall, a fantastic showing from all of our competitors today. And yeah, looks like we have a little impromptu ship meet over at the Zen Gardens near Kaplan.
Yeah, you got to make it look good for that ending screenshot, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, we have gotten confirmation that it is over. Everyone has finished their laps. Everyone's finished their times. Like we said, unfortunately, we did not get a qualifying time for Dollar Store Easy, but everyone else on the board was able to qualify today. So that we will be seeing all of them next week. Plus, all of the people that we saw last night, we're going to be seeing all of them next Saturday as well. Everyone competing for $6,000 worth of prizes.
Yes, indeed.
A little bit of chump change, you know. So yeah, very big deal. Going to be very, very fun. So we'll be back next week on Saturday, on Sunday, same stream, same time. Hopefully, with everything working and redundancy plans in place. But yeah. Amazing job to Racers, and Red, as always, thank you very much for everything you've done.
Yeah, appreciate that. We are, I think we're getting towards the end of the stream wrap up. It was a great turnout from everybody, and I'm looking forward to next Saturday. Till we're dancing all night.